Oh, that's a good starting position, especially for a harmonic. Lucky. Here we go. Harmonic start from behind. We didn't used to have a harmonic start in 2013. Hopefully we can have a clean first corner. That's looking a lot better than the little test race, to be fair. So, 2013 cars in this race. Well, there's not 2013 cars in this race, there's 16 cars in this race. But there's only cars from when the game was released in 2013 are in this race. Starting with the Banshee. This is an old school track made by Sugar Free Nos. Banshee was always one of his favourite cars. And the track was made for the mid-drive that the Banshee can do. But yeah, I thought it was fun to, you know... Oh, I slowed down from that. I was in too high of a gear. Damn it. I thought it would be fun to sort of take a look back and do a random more with old school cars. You know, cars that we had when the game first released. So you'll see a collection. We've got 16 cars, so 16 laps of the track. Everyone will have all the same cars by the end, but with it being random, it's gonna be a mix. And it'll switch around and then all come together by the end. That classic saying. Oh, I clipped him. Stupid lag. I'm not doing very good considering I started at the front. Letting myself down. Bad performance so far. So yeah, it is an element of skill on this one. The randomness evens out by the end. So the people who do the best in their cars by the end will be the ones who win. There's no element of randomness going on because everybody gets the same by the end. So we got the Phoenix. The Phoenix is still one of the very few cars that you can't actually buy on the in-game website. The only way to own it is to find it and steal it. There was a lot of cars back in 2013 where that was the case. That you could only own them by actually stealing them, and like when we're talking about GTA Online, obviously. But then they added a lot of those cars to the websites. They still haven't done that with the Phoenix. It might actually be the only one that you can. It's still only like that. Stinger GT, beautiful car, the Stinger GT. So good. But yeah, we did also obviously have a harmonic start as well, so it's going to be bigger gaps for people. It's going to be more difficult for people at the back to, you know, make up positions, but the quick drivers are still the quick drivers. I'm sure they'll be alright. I'd be happy if I was able to keep a top 5, like by the end of the race. I'd consider that a successful race. So I think I've already lost the chance to win. I've driven so badly on that first lap. This is such a good collection of cars, to be honest. It is like, you know, going back through and looking at these big lists of cars and trying to pick out all the launch day cars. it was kind of nice because you know there's a good collection of cars. Like they are some decent vehicles. Some of the best cars are still from the 2013 collection. Certainly from a driving experience and an enjoyment of driving experience. Monroe's still one of my favourites. The Stinger GT is still one of my favourites. The Adder is still such a good car to race with. It makes sense for me to try and defend from the Adder behind me. It's a quicker car, I'm not just going to let it past because it will serve me well later on in the race when I've got the quicker car. It's going to come past me here though. Obviously there are some unique aspects like the spoiler there on the Adder on Project Homecoming. You know, the livery on the Stinger GT. Those aren't on the vanilla versions obviously, but they're still, you know, cars from launch date. It's crazy to think that we only had 7 cars in the Supers class. There's only 3. I only decided to add 3 of them to this race. Obviously, people are just going to be all about, why didn't you include this car? Why didn't you include this car? And I'm sure there's going to be many of those people who will ask me why I didn't include a car that wasn't even a launch day car. Like Turismo R or Zentorno or Massacre or something. Those were DOC cars. But yeah, we only had 7 supercars. Now in F. When the game first came out, it was much easier to test the cars because there was a lot less. But we do have what was the quickest supercar back in 2013 in this race. I haven't seen one yet. Oh, it slowed me down way too much, damn it. We've got what was the quickest muscle car with the Dominator just in front. We've got what was the quickest sports car as well. And that held on to the title of the quickest sports car for a long time. And we've got what was the quickest compact car also, I just realised. And the quickest sports classic. I think of all the classes that are represented, apart from off-roads, which I just included one vehicle for, we've got all of the what used to be the quickest in the class in 2013. There's the quickest supercar, the Entity XF, and we got the quickest sports car just in front as well, the 2 E's. Damn, the leader's gone. That's the thing with these random select races, they will ebb and flow. Those who get the quickest cars early will shoot off into the distance and then take the pain with the slower cars later. There is obviously a difference in performance with these cars, but it's not huge. It's not like if we did a random all select or something. But there are some cars that are quicker than others. Old school GTA. How naive we all were to think that things would in any way improve. Where's the chrome paint? It's not the full 2013 view. Well, there's chrome on that Elegy, to be fair. Well, it looks like it kind of a matted. Maybe it's a metal. Z-Type. What used to be the fastest sports classic car. Is this back to its normal speed, Project Homecoming guys, or is it still slower? I know the Sterling GT is slower. Yeah, it is. Okay, so we got full-fledged vanilla GTA performance Z-Type. Or is the Sterling GT back to its normal speed as well? It felt slow, but maybe that's just because it is slow. Sterling is too. Oh, Sterling, sorry, Stinger, I mean, not Sterling. The Stinger is what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm kind of happy about that, to be honest. I'm happy that some of the vanilla cars have gone back to their vanilla performance and handling. They are classics. The Rapid GT is still quicker though. I like that. So this is going to be the halfway mark car. Hey, it's the Rapid GT. 2 random races in a row. Did I ever tell you about? I'm not going to say it. Missed it. Catching up to the Blister, which was the quickest compact car when the game first released. Although it was very close between the Blister and the Issy, to be fair. Got a Cheetah behind. Cheetah was always a little bit down on power, but that's a great traction. Getting those mid-drives right out of there. Those brake, handbrake boosts. So we lost a place, but we gained a place, still in top 5. We're halfway through. There's the adder, there's the spoiler going up. What we needed for the adder to be on pace back in 2013 after the spoiler update, which made spoilers add traction in 2014. The adder really lost out. But if it had this, I remember in one of the very early FiveM Project Homecoming videos we did where you guys and Nos was showcasing, you know, the server and everything. I remember him saying we put the spoiler on the adder and immediately it became on pace with Entity, Turismo, Zentorno, all that kind of stuff. The spoiler is what the adder needed to be on the pace back in 2013. Could have been up there with the Entity. Because it had the top speed. It didn't. It's even with the spoiler, the adder still doesn't have the grip of the Entity, but it had the better top speed, so it was like that good balance. But obviously, without the spoiler, it just lost too much in the corners. But to be fair, now the adder is one of the best cars to drive in vanilla GTA and the most fun to race with because it doesn't have the spoiler. Like that's one of the defining characteristics that makes it interesting to drive and good to race with. So it's kind of good that it hasn't had it added in regular vanilla, as other cars have just gotten more and more grippy and less challenging. Speaking of challenging, regular Dominator, now that's a challenging car. Fastest car in the muscle class back in the day as well. But a lot of people didn't use it because it was so difficult to use. A lot of people went for like Gauntlet and things like that, especially before the spoiler upgrade. the spoiler update. Back in those early days of vehicle testing, when I would test the cars and try to tell people that these harder to drive cars were actually quicker, they were just harder to maximize, but people just weren't having it. Into fourth. The leader looks like he's lost a lot of time on this lap. That's gonna happen. It's all gonna coalesce. Found another word to use other than come together towards the end. It will coalesce towards the end. Big brain. Look at that vocab. Oh, is it gonna be dodgy? I still kept the inside for the fast chicane. That's good. Feltzer, absolute classic. Always played second fiddle to the Elegy. But for a long time, the Feltzer actually had the second quickest, the second best traction stats in the game. Even after a lot of DLC sports cars and stuff, it was still, it just has so much base traction, but it was just always slightly overshadowed by the Elegy's base traction. But what a car. Took me a while to learn to love the Feltzer. I think it's because I always had the big rear wing on the back of it. And that ruins the balance, honestly. It wasn't until like, what, 2017 or something, I feel like, I started to really enjoy the Feltzer and use it properly in races, and it's such a lovely car to drive. Such a good car to race with as well, side by side. Beautiful car. It's amazing how many of these classic cars were just they stood the test of time and are still so good to drive and race with. Like, Rockstar have tried all these different ways to make cars and program cars, advanced handling flags and new mechanics and all sorts. Here's our only off-road vehicle. Obviously the Sanchez was the only thing you ever needed for off-road races, but this is the one people wanted when I gave them the option of the injection and the dune buggy in the chat. I've lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was saying there, but I'm sure it was not important. Oh yeah, cars being fun to drive from the Rockstar have tried so many different ways since, well, they've started experimenting a lot really since Cunning Stunts in 2016. With all downforce and then advanced flags and all sorts, but the original ways that they made the cars was just the best. Even when you look at some of the more popular current cars, like DLC cars, they're all made in the same way as, the old cars were. Look at the Schlagen GT. It's such a good car. It's got no tricks, no nonsense. It was the only car from Arena War that didn't have any horrible advanced flags. Alright, so we're 3/4 of the way through Sultan. Can I give that up? Can I go up the inside? Sultan does not have good brakes, but needed to make that move, I think. What have I got left? I've got the Cheetah. I've still got the Blister. That's going to be a pretty slow lap, I think. Closing in on the Z-Type. So I should make inroads into second place. It's worth me trying to defend. I went off-road a bit too much. I didn't really want to pull in case I ended up hitting the back marker. It was kind of in the way a little bit. Sultan's just got the same off-road traction loss as any other sports car. You would think it would be slightly better because it's, you know, a Sultan, but nope. No better off-road than any other sports car. It does have four-wheel drive, I suppose, which helps it a little bit, but... Blister, Cheetah... I've still got the Elegy to go. Those are the three. Alright, we're getting the pain out of the way first, I suppose. Am I going to be able to keep a top 5? That's the question. I don't... The leader's gone and we're nowhere near winning this race. The pace difference in cars, even if he has... The Blister's probably the slowest car in the selection. So even if the leader had that still to go, I don't think he'd be getting caught even by second place. I have to go the long way around. He did. But maybe I cost him a little bit of time that might help me towards the end. This has been nice. It's been a fairly uneventful race as the sun is setting and making things look all pretty. But I've really enjoyed this. Just like a retrospective look back at some old cars on an old style track. A nice relaxing drive in a way with some racing mixed in there. And there are 32 people in this race. It's just because I started at the front, we kind of haven't been mixing it in with anybody, which is nice for once to have a race like that. It's been a very nostalgia-filled race, this one. But I've got 2 laps left and 2 very quick cars to come. And second place is only just going through the chicane now. I think I might be able to keep a top 5. But can I improve this position at all? Depends what the others are going to have. Considering I started on pole position, I definitely haven't driven well enough to be, you know, even considering to be unhappy about not being in the lead or close to the lead. Lead has just been gone all the way through. So far ahead. But it's just been one of those races that's been nice to drive. And I would have been happy regardless. But now that we're on the last few laps, maybe I can try to push on. Damn, that was bad. I'm actually going to lose 5th place if I'm not careful. I haven't driven well on that right-hander, left-hander, sorry. Oh, 6th place has made a mistake, that's fine. Well, we're closing in with the Stinger GT just up ahead. It's all coming together. It's all coalescing, apart from the leader, who's gone. 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th all here together. What are we going to have for the final car? Can I get 4th place before the chicane? I would really like to. LG versus... I think it was a Rapid GT for Benny. Stinger GT up ahead. That should be a place we can get. And then the June buggy. Oh, we could be on for 2nd here. Save the Elegy to last. And everybody around me's got, well, in front of me at least, they've got slow vehicles. It was important to get into the chicane before Benny. It's not going to give me it easy, so around the outside. There's 3rd. Back marker, stay there, beautiful. Give me that Elegy acceleration. Exciting last lap. This has been a slow burner. Everyone who's stuck around for the last lap is getting rewarded. Yeah, I'm really not nailing that left-hander there. Surely I'll have it on acceleration out of here. God, the leader was so far ahead. It's incredible. Great pace. I suppose once he got in the lead, he didn't have to really contend with battling with anybody. He could run his own pace. Ah, the Rapid GT behind with Benny. Went super defensive. He's gone too deep. Benny's going to have the best run out. I expected better acceleration from the Elegy, to be honest. He's going to hold on. No! Oh, so close! Ah, man. That was close. 0.5 of a second for second place. 0.5 second back to Benny. Really closed up at the end. I didn't drive that Elegy well enough. It was good defending from him. I thought, to be honest, I thought the Elegy was going to have better acceleration than what it did. Yeah, 124. Jezza was just so much faster than everybody else in this race. Like, he needed to be starting at the back or something to make it interesting. The fact that he got into the lead and then had the ability to set those kind of lap times. He just had clean air for the entire race and just walked away with it. We had an exciting fight for second place though. 4-way battle on that last lap. That was good.